Hi everyone, welcome to day 11 of the July Daily Colouring Challenge. Today we have got a Pirate's Treasure Chest to colour. Now I've looked on Google for some inspiration and this one came up. I thought it'd be quite nice to add a little bit of detail into this with the iron, are they iron? I don't know what they're made of, the metallic frame bits around the treasure chest. So I'm using Arteza Expert pencils today, trying to use something different or nearly different, or make a big variation throughout this challenge every day. So let's see what we've got. So I've got my colours here. There's quite a few different browns in this set, which I thought was really good. So I want something a little bit darker, not black, but not far off black either. So I'm going to have a look at what the darkest colour of brown is that Arteza have. And if I have my little piece of paper to test them on, which has gone missing, oh no, here it is. To test them on, we can see, so this one is called Burnt Umber. And I think that this is their darkest brown. I'm gonna just check and see if there's another, because I thought it would have been darker than that. We've got an espresso brown, what's this one? Okay, so this is darker. So obviously don't go by what the tips look like, because this one actually looks darkest, but it's not. So there's the espresso, there's also dark chocolate brown, which is much more of a reddish tone that I don't want. Then we've got cocoa brown. It's pretty similar actually to the espresso. And that one's just not dark enough. So, I mean, we could do some layering, I suppose, but this one here, which is the espresso, is the darkest brown that we're going to get. So I'm just thinking, if I layer that with something else, would we get a darker result? Let's see, what else can I could layer it with. Usually you layer a red with indigo blue to make it darker or close to a black. So maybe if we layer this with indigo, would that work? Or is it just completely different colour? So let me find an indigo blue. There's one here called indigo. Is that dark enough? Not really. What about this Prussian blue? Marginally better. Okay, let's give it a go. So if I layer the indigo over the brown, and then we just layer it up again. Does it get much darker? Is it worth it? If we layer a red in there, what will that do? Let's try it. So this is Venetian red. Okay, so we are getting a darker result. I think if I finish up with one more layer of the brown, that might be pretty good. So that's the result with the layering, and this is the result on its own. Yeah, let's just do it. I'm not going to think too hard about it. So we're going to need to make this frame first of all. So I've got my 0.3 pigment liner. Make sure that's working. And if we just have a look at the reference photo, you will see that it splits into 3 at the bottom. So I think that's what we'll try and do. So just looking at this very quickly and not precisely, I'm just going to see if I can split the bottom bit into 3. I'm trying to keep in line with the line art so that it's got that right perspective on it, but I'm no good at perspective, so I've just got to be careful with what I'm doing. And then we'll have a border of it on the outside here, but I'm not too bothered about putting the line in. And then we will also need one at the top to split the top into 2. We're also going to need a border around this bit. So yeah, I think they're just guidelines anyway. I don't need to do anything specifically special for that. Just trying to find my sharpener, and then we'll get going. I mean, I could always use a very light layer of black and then go over it with the espresso so it softens the black. But let's see how it works trying the red and blue combo, just for fun. So I'm gonna do the border. Move out of the way. want a border on the 2 lines that I've drawn so that we've got 3 distinct sections, and then we want a border here and against the edge as well. And then one on the side too. Finally, we've got this border on the side. And there we go. So I'm going to layer it over with the indigo. I think straight away you can see it definitely makes it darker and takes it further into that dark brown black region. Hopefully you can see that on the camera anyway, but that's the feeling that I'm getting. There we go. So that's definitely gone darker. Now I do have the red. I don't know whether as much we need it, but I'll do it anyway. For the purposes of the experiment, we'll do it. There we go, and then finally the espresso brown again to finish. Okay, there we are. So that is much darker than the original espresso brown colour on its own. So what I need to do now is find a bit of a lighter combo of browns in order to have this look so that it's distinct. The wood is distinct from the metal. I might even put a little bit of white gel pen on the metal just to show that that's got a shine and the wood hasn't. Oh, so I think we want something that is a bit of a reddish brown to counterpart the dark brown that we've done there. So I'm just looking through the Artezas. They do have quite a few reddish browns, so we've got a good selection this time. The ones that I've just pulled out quickly by looking at them are these here. This is cinnamon and burnt ochre, and I think we might need a little bit of something lighter, I think, because these are very, very similar to each other. So I'm looking for something that would look a bit like a goldenrod from the Prismacolors. If you're familiar with Prismacolors, you'll know which colour I mean, but I can't really see anything too like it at the moment. I think maybe even this turmeric yellow might be all right. So if we use this cinnamon for our darkest colour, I'm going to give it a quick sharpen because we need some sharp lines for the wood grain. That'll do. And do the same with the others. Okie doke. The darkest one was the cinnamon, wasn't it? Let's pick out some of the wood grain with this cinnamon colour then. So luckily we already have some lines to guide us. But we've got such a small area to work with, there's really no use getting incredibly detailed about it. I've said it time and time again on this challenge. It's difficult though, because I want to do it, you know, properly detailed and make it look really fantastic, but there's just not the room to do so. I've just done some very jagged lines. I'm going to do the inside top of the chest later, just in case you're wondering why I've not done that yet. I'm going to go to that turmeric yellow, the lightest colour, and just fill in the gaps a bit, and then we can go over with our mid-tone, which will just help to soften everything and bring it all together. So the mid-tone was burnt ochre. This is number 113, by the way. I don't think I've been giving the numbers, but and this, like I said, is just going to soften the turmeric yellow a bit. Still keep it, you know, as the lightest colour for the differentiation in tone, but this is going to soften it all up a bit so it doesn't look so stark. Now I think we can come back in with the cinnamon and then just add any more lines where we think they need to be. Bringing in a slight bit of the espresso here as well to make it look a bit more worn and not so bright. Okay, I think I've missed out this bit, haven't I? Let me just colour that in quickly. So for underneath the lid, we do want a darker tone because it's in shadow under there. So what I would do is take the espresso and just give it a smooth layer all over. A little bit of that indigo. No red this time, just going to go back with the espresso over the blue. And hopefully we've got a definite brown, but it's just a little bit darker for the shading under there. Probably could even just have a little bit of black. If I can find the black, here we go. Just a little bit of black just to emphasize these dark areas under here where the main part of the shadow would be. Like I said, I'm not sure how much difference it makes to you on camera or whether or not we've got glare. No, I think we're all right at the minute. But yeah, it looks pretty good to me. Okay, so for the actual gold inside, I need to create a fuzzy gold colour to make up the backdrop of the individual coins that you see, just to try and show that it is full of gold. And I think I might even just do the individual coins in a metallic paint, but the rest of it can just be a blurred gold pencil colour. So here I've got camel brown. I'm just picking these up as I see them. If I put a little bit of camel brown all over, and then we probably could do with a bit of a brighter yellow. So I've got a lemon yellow here, just going over that camel brown. Just trying to create a look of gold. Like I say, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just going to be for the background of the individual coins to give the eye that look as if it's full of the same thing. Just using the lemon yellow and the camel brown here and there. Now I do want to do the top bit of the box in brown as well, you know, that's above the line of where the gold sits. So I'm going to need the cinnamon just a little here and there. I'm going to need that turmeric yellow, and I'm going to mostly need the burnt ochre just to make it look like that wood that we've got on the outside. Use a little bit of espresso brown right in the corner just to show that it is a corner and it's not just one long line of brown. And the same over here, a little bit of shadow. I think that will do. Now then, what I reckon we should do is the metallic gold on the individual coins. So I've got my water brush, I've got a golden paint again, KJ designed by Karen. Probably won't use anything else in terms of gold paint ever again, or any paint, it's brilliant. So I've got my water brush, I'm just going to paint the individual coins in this gold, just to give it something, firstly that shows difference from the underneath and just shows you those individual pieces, but also just to give it that metallic look. I'm also going to use this gold to paint the handle, and I think maybe even the keyhole. Lovely. So I did say I was going to do some white gel pen on the metal bits. I'm just wondering if it would make a difference if I added in some rivets on this, or whether it's just way too small to see. Just wondering. I've got a Sakura, what's this, BB pen. It's the first thing that came to hand, and I just thought maybe add some rivets. I don't know if it makes much of a difference or not, it's such a small area, but I'm concentrating that hard. My eyes are watering and then I can't see what I'm doing. Not being very precise with this at all, but I'm hoping it adds to the effect anyway. Let's see if you can even see any difference on that. Well, yeah, you can a little bit, I suppose. It's a bit messy, that one, to be honest, but oh well. Let's see if it'll let me add a little bit of white gel pen over it, or whether it'll start to smudge things and mess up. What if I add a touch of white to the rivets? How would that look? Oh, that's not too bad actually. It shows a little bit of shine to those rivets. Makes them show up a little bit more. It's all about the little things that we can do on these tiny thumbnail pictures, just to elevate them slightly. Like I say, we probably are going to be over-engineering some of these colouring thumbnails a little bit with how we do them, but it's something different, isn't it? It's something different for you to watch. I'm just going to get rid of that because I messed up. Oh well. I'm trying not to be so fussy with it, but it's really difficult not to. Especially when you're on camera, because you want it to be really good. You know, when you're making a video for people, you've got people watching, you want to make it worth watching. You want to do something that people go, oh wow. and not something that's like, what happened there then? I'm just thinking I might want to put a little bit of darker brown. Maybe even this cinnamon would work. Just here in between the coins a little bit. I think the cinnamon's a bit red actually. Would the espresso work? I guess I'm just trying to make a little bit more differentiation in between the colours of the coins, but I also don't want to take away from the lightness of the gold underneath, so maybe I should just leave it alone. Let me see how it looks for you. Oh, I quite like those little white dots that we've done. Okay, so background colour then. Brown, what can we do for a background colour of brown? I mean, we could do anything really, couldn't we? We've not done a purple background yet. Would that work? Just looking at what we've got next, we've got a map next. Can you see that on screen? Yeah, on day 12 we've got a map. That would be like a really light parchment paper type, scrolly paper type thing, wouldn't it? Would colours like that work on this, or would it be too much brown? It's terrible at decision making. Okay, let me see what I can see. Let me see what I can see. We've done a lot of pink. I don't really want to put pink on there. What about like a wine red? How about that? So if I just grab colours that I can see might work. This is called garnet red and this one's called cherry red. Numbers 072 and 131. I'm wondering if that might even work as a nice background. I know red and brown are really quite similar to one another, but it might just add that richness onto it, the richness of the jewels and the coins and things that they found in the treasure chest. Because this is quite an opulent, rich colour, isn't it? A wine red. So I'm just doing a little bit around the edge. I've totally ballsed up those white dots just then. So a little bit of that around the edge, and then the cherry red, I'm hoping that's going to work. I've not even swatched these out. This is just what I'm seeing when I look in the pencil case, and I think they'll go nice together, but it doesn't always work out. So I really should swatch them, but I'm quite impatient even when it comes to just taking a moment just to swatch something. I'm still impatient. I just want to do it. Works sometimes, but not always. Just deepening up that garnet. Now I did say about the indigo, often deepening up a red and used as a shading colour on red indigo. So let's see if I just put a little layer of indigo up here. Would that create a nice little bit of shading for us? Just to deepen the red even further. Yeah, quite like that. So yeah, I've got this cherry red and I've just sort of gradiented it. I'm full of bad words today. Gradiented it to the centre, but not gone too hard with it because I want to get a little bit of white in there and make it light. So I'll grab the white pencil. I've no idea what the white is like in the Arteza pencils. I can't imagine it'll be as good as a Prismacolor, but we only need it for a very small area, so I'm not too worried. I just need to add a slight bit more of the cherry red there. I'm just blending out a little bit with the white. hopefully that should look pretty nice. Just a bit more of the cherry red into the blend. I'm just trying to get it really flat and smooth looking. It's not always easy when you're working with cheap paper and pencils that are quite hard. I reckon that's it. I don't want to overdo it anymore, but I've enjoyed that one. I'm eager to see how you think it turned out for a tiny weeny little thing that's literally like my thumb size. So do let me know in the comments, and I will see you tomorrow on day 12.